A mother is supposed to be your first best friend, your protector, your ride or die. But some mums are out here competing with their own children. They are gaslighting them or doing things that leave us wondering, who needs enemies when you have mothers like these? With the recent news of the controversial influencer Ashley Trevino's alleged arrest, it feels very fitting to dive into Reddit's most baffling, unbelievable, and downright messy stories about moms who may just be vying alongside Ashley for the title of worst mom ever. For anyone who's been living under a rock or isn't as chronically online as I am, first of all, I am very jealous of you right now. Ashley Trevino, whose real name is Ashley Lopez Trevino, is a Texas-based influencer. I hate to call her an influencer because I don't think she's influencing anyone positively, who was recently arrested on active felony warrants related to fraud, including alleged healthcare fraud, roughly between $2,500 to $30,000. She was later released on bond, and neither she nor authorities have disclosed the full details about the charges. Though after being released, she's gone back to live streaming and publicly joked about being released and even mentioned going to a casino afterwards.
When he told me to put my hands behind my back, he's like, put your hands behind your back, you're gonna go in. I said, all right. He was like, I was like, hold up, can I take my bracelets off? He goes, yeah, take them off. So I had to take my bracelets off. People get mad because I laugh about it. What you want me to do, cry about it? I'm not gonna cry about it.
She gained popularity and attention for a pattern of romantic involvement with incarcerated men, earning her nicknames like the prison inmate dater, or a prison hopper, or as she calls herself, a prison wife. We're talking people who have allegedly committed heinous crimes, and in some cases, lives were lost. And when called out during her live streams, she would often have offensive responses defending these men.
Oh, well, you're with this person, he did this. Are you sure he did that? Were you there when he did it? They weren't my daughter's ages. One of them was young, yes. The other one was 19. She was not a child.
And I'm not showing her that respect. I didn't do nothing to your dad. My ex-husband did that, not me. How do you know that he wasn't the one behind the Twin Towers? Isaiah didn't mean to unalive your dad. That was an accident. Don't come at me when it comes to Isaiah. I will go full throttle with that. Isaiah was my first love and will always be my love.
No. He literally unalived his wife.
Okay, well, it's not my fault. I feel like it's my fault. Maybe if he was happy, he wouldn't have.
She's also had some relationships outside the prison context. For example, she's allegedly dated a much younger TikToker last year, which fueled controversy in itself because her teenage daughter was rumored to have had a crush on him.
And how everybody's saying that he was my daughter's crush, I never knew that. My daughter never told me. She was just happy that I was talking to him.
His name is Santos, but I will not be discussing him. Their breakup debacle happened across many live streams. There was even a song released about him seeing her Nunu. Please do not ask me what Nunu means, for the love of God. I cannot get myself to, I cannot be bothered, okay? I cannot say what Nunu is. Just use context clues here, please. Don't traumatize me.
I've already seen his BB, and he's already seen my Nunu, okay?
You need to get off later. You're saying stuff that people are wanting to know.
Okay, well.
Trevino, bless everyone on Insta Live.
Come here.
Ashley Trevino is also a mother of 2 teenage daughters, and her parenting has been a major source of criticism online. People have raised concerns over her daughters being allegedly exposed to her romantic partners, some of which have violent criminal histories, sometimes being introduced to them as their daddy. I think it's worth noting here that that man is not their father. I think their father has now passed, but he was alive during this saga. There have also been concerns about whether or not the girls even had beds in her home. During a podcast, Ashley explained that this was a temporary arrangement and had to do with the fact that she had some privacy concerns due to her fame. In a live stream, she talked about hating her daughters for having more affection from their father.
Haley literally has been through like the bottom of her life. Like whenever we lived with her dad, I used to pull her by the hair because I was so mad at her. Like I feel like he loved her more than he loved me, and so like I took my anger out on her.
And you can also see in a live stream where she's ignoring her daughter and dancing as her daughter informs her that she had just thrown up. Now in Ashley's defense, she did address her daughter much later, but not before first accusing her of lying.
And Santos, he knows smell well.
Mama just threw up.
You just threw up? Why?
I just threw up.
You're lying.
Let me throw up.
It smell like it or what? I'm just kidding.
Mama just threw up. Why are you doing this? Mom, I threw up. Why are dancing.
She's also been seen asking her daughter on a telephone if she would like to have lip fillers. And when her daughter declined, she almost downright forced an insecurity on this poor girl.
Do you want lip filler?
No, my lips are actually big.
They're not that big, baby.
Okay, but they're big enough for me.
They're not that big.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
And on a personal level, an offense she has committed is being named Ashley too. Of all the names in the world, it just had to be Ashley.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it.
But today isn't about Ashley, or at least that Ashley. Today's about us and Reddit stories where moms have crossed every possible line, from antagonizing their kids to lying, manipulating, and in one case, doing something much more unforgivable. Hello and welcome, Threadheads. My name is Ashley, and today we're exploring the wild, weird, and sometimes ugly world of the mother-child, and mainly today, the mother-daughter relationships. I'd like to know if you guys think these behaviors are some sort of love language or codependency, or I don't know, just a plain hot mess. If you enjoyed today's video, go ahead and give your girl a thumbs up. Just go ahead and polish that like button with your thumb. Just give it a nice clean. It looks a little bit dusty on your phone. And as always, I want to say thank you guys for being here. I say it at the start because I want you to know I truly mean it. It means the world to me that you are here. It means the world to me that you're listening. And it means the world to me that you're a nosy person. See how I just snuck that in there? But don't worry, I am not judging you, for I am your enabler, and I am right there with you. So now, without further ado, let's jump into some stories. Ashley read it, and now, so will you. Coming from the True Off My Chest subreddit, we have a post by Haughty Whore who says, "My mother decided to get married the weekend before me. I, 26 female, and my fiance, 26 male, are getting married in 2 weeks. We have been engaged with our date set for over a year, and my mother was the first person we called when we got engaged, and all she said was, 'I'm sure I'm the last to know. You're probably sick of hearing congratulations by now.' She flew out a couple months later for our engagement party. I was outside with my friend when she stormed outside, past everyone else sobbing, and wouldn't speak to me, except to yell at me to go back inside. Later, she told me she was just overwhelmed." It's giving Kumisi Dise, how do I make myself the main character? Then she met her boyfriend. She told me he makes her feel so loved, like my fiance does for me, but that she was also still seeing a few other people, mostly because her new boyfriend doesn't speak any English, and my mom doesn't speak Spanish. So they Sorry, this is so stupid. So they communicate through Google Translate. A few months later, my fiance and I are in my hometown for a childhood friend's wedding. My mother was also invited and brought her boyfriend. I was in the wedding, so my fiance was stuck next to them for the ceremony. He said they made out the whole time, and whenever they weren't making out, my mom was complaining. During the reception, if they weren't on the dance floor grinding on each other, they were back at their table making out. He even had his hand up her dress on several occasions. I mentioned this behavior on the drive home, and all she said was, "He's Latin, he's just very passionate." Okay, ma'am. While we were in town, my maid of honor decided to throw us a wedding shower. I even made sure the bride whose wedding I was in was okay with it first. I thought it was a great chance for my fiance to meet all of my friends, and for me to see people I haven't seen since before the pandemic the last time I was there. My maid of honor tried to include my mom in the planning, and my mom said she would bring table decorations and tablecloths. She did bring them, but then sat down and got on her phone for the whole time. She didn't even bother to get the things out of her car. I asked her to help frost the cupcakes if she was going to sit there while I set the tables up. She agreed, but then complained about it the whole time. Once my friends began showing up, she completely ignored everyone and just sat in the corner on her phone. My fiance tried his best to include her in every conversation. She knew most people at the party. She knew my friends since first grade, people I went to high school with, my maid of honor's parents, and she just ignored everyone. And then she complained to my fiance that I wasn't spending time with her, even though I'd set the day before our trip aside to solely spend time with her and my younger siblings. After we got back from our trip, I found out I was pregnant. Again, she was the first one I called because I knew she'd be upset if she wasn't. I called her several times and she didn't answer, so I called my dad and I called my best friend and I told them. When I finally got a hold of her, all she said was, "Wow, congrats," in the most monotone voice I've ever heard her use in my whole life. At the end of last month, her and my dad both told me that they didn't know if they could afford to come to my wedding. Again, the date has been known for over a year. I don't understand why they couldn't work out travel and lodges in advance. And not to mention, my mother just moved recently to be closer to her boyfriend's job. I was honestly over all of her behavior at this point, so I figured it'd be a good thing if she didn't show up, and I made peace with her. But then she worked it out and called me this past week to tell me that she got the plane tickets for her, my brother, and her boyfriend. Oh, and by the way, they were getting married in a week before my own wedding. My fiance and I both cannot wrap our heads around how she could possibly think this is acceptable. She knows how much we've been looking forward to this, and it just feels like I'm not allowed to have anything for myself. She always wants a slice of whatever I get, and now she's going to come to our wedding and tell everyone that she just got married too. I have to warn our photographers not to speak to her because I know she'll tell them that she just got married and ask for a few pictures of them together. She's going to try to make our wedding her wedding without having to pay for any of it. It feels like she's jealous and just wishes to be me. I don't know if it's the pregnancy hormones or if it's a past trauma of dealing with her. We have a long history of not getting along. I thought we were doing well in recent years, but that was until I met my fiance, and now I literally never want to talk to her again after this wedding. I'll definitely be going no contact for at least a little while. I don't know if anyone will even read this novel, but I desperately needed to get it off my chest. How do I say this? OP, your mother is a hater. Your mom is an op. In fact, an op is too nice to call her. I would say your mom is a witch. And I don't mean those sexy witches, you know, the pretty ones who gave me boners. No, I mean the wicked witch. Flip it around. Madam Marble.
Madam Marble, flip it around, wicked witch.
I think your mom has a little bit of jealousy, and it's literally why I said I wanted this episode to be solely about the mother-daughter relationship, because there are way too many mothers out here competing with their own daughters. It is weird. I don't understand how you could possibly birth a person and you look at that person and think to yourself, I don't like that you look prettier than me, or that you're younger than me. I don't understand why they're angry about your youth. It's not like they expect you to be born and be their age mate. I don't understand it. OP's mom said to her that her fiance equates to the boyfriend she's just known for a couple months. Wow. Can I also go back to how they communicate? I don't understand how they talk to each other and she says it's true love. How can you say you love him deeply and you're seeing other people? Because he's not providing something clearly in that relationship that you can only get from other people, which is the fact that you guys can't even communicate. Google Translate does not always get the actual translation. For example, the Latin boyfriend, or whatever she called him, could be saying, I really like you in his language, and Google would translate it to, I love you. He said, I love you. She went to your wedding shower, made it about herself. Your engagement party made it about herself. The news of your engagement made it about herself. Your pregnancy, she couldn't even stomach it. She had to just simply say, wow, congrats. So OP, I say to you what your mom failed to say. Congratulations on your pregnancy, and I do hope you have a healthy, happy child. It is so weird. I don't understand moms who think this way. Why are you so bitter about your child thriving? If I see my child having a successful life, I think to myself, oh wait, I did a good job raising this kid. Why would I be like, you think you are better than me? I don't understand it. But the one thing I want to say to OP that I give her kudos for is having this type of mother and being able to see past her BS and clearly call her out, because OP's writing lets me know that she sees her mom as toxic. She's clearly over her mom's behavior. She hasn't let her mom make her insecure. She hasn't let her mom make her feel like she's the villain. She clearly sees her mom for what she truly is, which is a bitch. If you think about it, the only reason she even got a boyfriend is because she found out OP was engaged. How do you go to someone's wedding and you start making out like you're in your bedroom? Bruh. Why is your hand under her dress, Mr. Man? What are you looking for? Are you the bride or groom? And if you're not the bride or groom, I don't want to see you grinding on the dance floor. Go and sit down and behave yourselves. Go sit down! We have a top comment by Natural War 1261 who says, I'm willing to bet my firstborn that she will show up in her wedding dress. And if he responds, I asked her what she was wearing and she kept avoiding my question. I was also freaking out about it. I've told my bridesmaids if she shows up in anything even remotely white, she is to end up in the pond at our ceremony site. See what I mean? You see what I'm saying? OP clearly is over her mother. She has said, if you come to my wedding in a white dress, you are leaving that wedding in a brown dress. And I stand by that. I don't think we need more comments, so going over to the update. OP says, Hi everyone. I just want to say thank you for all the well wishes. My wedding was truly the best day of my life. I had the best day ever. That is no thanks to anyone in my family. A lot happened, so I'll keep everything brief. I called my mom before her wedding and I told her how it was messed up that she chose to get married a week before me. She's had to have a conversation about this with someone else, or she knew what was coming, because she launched in to say, yeah, I know, but it just kind of happened this way. It wasn't intentional. Of course it wasn't intentional. My friend's mother went to the wedding so she could report back to us. Apparently my mom complained about me the whole time, saying I was mad about nothing and that I told her she wasn't allowed to talk about her wedding, which I did, but she agreed to on the phone, saying that she wasn't trying to take any attention from me. My whole family missed the rehearsal, which would have been fine if they had just listened to me about the lineup at least one of the 12 times I told them what they were supposed to be doing. This caused an issue at the wedding and my mom threw a fit, but my mother-in-law saved the day and set her straight. Mother-in-law for the win! My mom made it to the rehearsal dinner, and after I was done helping set up, she came up to me, grabbed my stomach, and started screeching hello to the baby. I backed up and asked her to please not touch me without permission, and she was very upset by that. My mom refused to smile in any pictures that she was in, but her husband wasn't. My sister, she's 14, and the youngest, threw a fit over the food we served. My dad missed our grand entrance and my first dance because he left to get her Subway. I told him it was a good thing I chose not to have a father-daughter dance because he would have missed that too. This whole family gives me a headache. My whole family left early, which was fine because I was under the impression that they all had early flights the next morning, which is why they couldn't make it to our brunch. Well, as it turns out, my mother lied to all of us, and she put my brother on an early morning flight so she and her husband could travel to New York City, we live upstate, and take a little honeymoon. We only found out because one of my bridesmaids and her family ran into my mother at the Statue of Liberty. My husband is pissed because we would have let my brother stay with us a little bit longer, and because my mom lied to his mom's face about why they couldn't attend brunch. My mom has texted me and I haven't responded, and I don't plan to. All in all though, none of this matters to me. I'm married to my best friend, I had a fairy tale wedding, and now in about 4 months, we'll have a new baby that I'm over the moon excited for. Some people asked for updates, so I thought I'd share the tea with you guys. I'm not even OP and I'm overstimulated. I can't imagine having that kind of family. I would feel so exhausted. OP is a very strong person. I do not envy her one bit. You know what? Hang on. I talked about the mum, but the dad is also a problem. Her sister doesn't like the food they served. Fine, but she's 14. At that point, you're a teenager. Imagine the guests at the party just watching this entire woman's family behave like nutcases. But let me know what you guys think. And while you do that, we are going to go on a short tea break. And when we come back, we are going to go over to the next story. Coming from the True Off My Chest subreddit, we have a post by Anonymous Carrot, who says, my mom is an influencer and I hate her for it. My mom, 45 female, has become a Facebook influencer. Wait, they're Facebook influencers? Who are they influencing? An I, 16 female, used to not care when she took photos, but it's gotten crazy. Everything she does is now posted or live streamed online. Even if somewhere says, don't photograph or film, she'll find ways to film it. It was annoying at first, but now it's downright frustrating, mostly since 3 months ago when she got really into it. I also completely understand the irony of me posting this on Reddit, but I need someone to hear me out. I declined to have my 16th birthday party, and so she threw a giant party, claimed it was for her anniversary, my brother's graduation, and my birthday. There were 150 guests, and between my dad, my brother, and myself, we only covered 30 of them. How does your mom know 120 people? I barely know 10. Well, that's not true. I know about 12. I don't even know how much of that party she wasn't on her screen for, since she was constantly filming and uploading it, along with a lot of her friends. I really want to perform. I've practiced for months, but the idea of her filming and uploading it makes me so nervous that I back down. I don't like being photographed or filmed. Even as a kid, I didn't like it. One time we went on vacation and every second of it was filmed. When we got to the hotel, we weren't allowed in until she recorded the room, even if we just drove 8 hours and needed to sleep. She'd take her time in areas she could photograph, even if it's just a rock. That's an actual thing. But when me, my dad, and my brother tried to enjoy a non-aesthetic place, we felt rushed, like she wanted to just go. If we got food, we weren't allowed to eat or move the food until photos or videos were taken. She even had us pose with the food or announce what it was. This one annoyed me. One time we traveled by car and it was over 10 hours since we ate. When we got a chance to eat dinner, she took my food before I got a chance and began recording it, saying things like, "Ooh, how delicious." And I was so tired and hungry, I just gave up and began tearing up. if I've not eaten for 10 hours and I see your hand coming towards my plate, honest to God, I will bite you. I will literally bite the hand that feeds me that day. On our vacation, we took a boat and she was live streaming. She was calling out followers, thanking them and saying how much she loved them all. The boat was going to check out Alcatraz and I thought it was so disrespectful, mainly because it was a public area and not everyone wants to be filmed. And also, the history of the island makes me feel like it needs to be respected, not treated like a background to a video. One thing that made me want to write this post was because I was trying to get a drink out of a soda machine. She had me pour out the ice from the cup so she could record me doing so for a shot. I have a certain ice to soda ratio that I like and it was perfect the first time. After that, I didn't get it correct and it was just a damper on an already not so great day. After that, she held up my soda and showed it off to the camera and I had to just wait until she was done. Also, I found myself beginning to envy her followers. She gives them so much more attention than she gives me. She goes off on my dad about how much closer I am with him than with her, but I asked to watch a movie with her and she declines. Her reasoning is always that she has a live stream later that she's hosting or a video she has to film or her followers are live. She's turned me down so many times that I've stopped trying to even hang out with her. Since even when I do get her attention, she's always on her phone. One time I asked for her opinion and she snapped that she was tired from her job and that she needed time to post. She live streams so much that I sometimes have to skip meals because she can't have the background noise and she live streams in the middle of the kitchen. She live streams for hours and if she has any issue with the internet, she makes everyone else power down their devices so she can get better connection. The most attention she's given me recently was recorded. I was in a dance class and the only time she looked at me was when she was recording what I was doing. The instructor praised me to them for my work multiple times and she didn't even notice. I checked and she was watching a live stream. I feel like I'm going crazy. When she posts about me, I feel exposed like I have no control. My dad keeps saying she views the world through her lens and I have no clue if this is how parents are nowadays, but it's terrible and I'm so sorry if anyone else has to grow up like this. Do you know my least favorite genre of content creators? It is family vloggers. They put their children's information out there to the public and they're so hyper fixated. They're so focused on views, how much attention they're drawing, and they will use their children as best that they can to draw attention from the public. They don't check that the video people are saving or liking a lot may be a video of their minor children, or more specifically, their minor girl children. They don't care about that. All they care about is this particular video got me so many likes. Let's recreate that energy in a different video. Her mother is spending time going on vacation and not even being there. I find it very unsafe to post where you are at the moment. Record them, save them, post it when you leave. She is missing out on her children and she's angry at her husband for being closer to the children that she doesn't want to get close with. Also, if you want to live stream for hours, I don't know, pick a room where people don't come to very often. It feels like common sense. I record my videos and I record them when I know I wouldn't bother anyone else. I wouldn't go to the kitchen or I wouldn't go to the living room and start recording and making my videos everyone else's problem. It really is never that serious. I'm sorry. It feels very dystopian for me to be so concerned about live streaming. And I get that live streaming gives you tons of money. Great. But not at the expense of your children actually having a relationship with you. Your kids are here being miserable. And this is why I say I don't like family vloggers. And it's not like they're going through a phase where they think you're uncool. No, it's like they're tired of every single day a camera in their face. I'm not going to mention any names, but I've seen one where her daughter was crying and this lady was having a camera just smacking her daughter's face, a little toddler, and she kept saying no cameras to her mother. And I was like, at that point, don't you just stop recording? If I drove somewhere for 10 hours and they finally drop plate in front of my face and I see your hand just reaching to grab it, you will regret it, because when I dig my teeth into your skin, it just feels so pretentious. It feels like a pretentious life you're living. I find myself feeling very exhausted by these people. We're only 2 stories in and I'm already tired. I just feel like when I'm done recording this particular video, I don't even know if I'm gonna take a break, but I just feel so burnt out. Jeez, these people are exhausting me. I'm tired. Why are you not in the moment? And the dad as well, I'm going to say this is the second 2 for 2 of the dads just being accomplices to the crime. Why are you guys just standing there and letting your wives mess up your children's lives? And you're excusing it. You're going, your mother just sees life through a lens. Crack the lens. In the comments, Coffee Captain 91 says, "This is absolutely terrifying. Those family vlogs are some of the worst of this. I don't watch them myself, but the thought of people filming every second of their lives, raising their often extremely young kids on camera is disgusting. It all began with scripted reality TV, and then the internet turned that into an unchecked beast, free of personal accountability, consent, and labor laws. Not to mention the danger of having your small child's face all over the goddamn internet." And OP responds, "There have been times I was told to reenact jokes I made earlier on because it wasn't caught on camera. I don't do it, but I wouldn't be surprised if family channels have their kids do so." And then a couple months later, OP comes in with an update. OP says, "A few weeks after the original post, I tried to sit down with my mother. I started to explain to her I didn't want to be posted or predominantly featured in her account, minus maybe family photos or major events. I do understand that Facebook is important to her, and I wouldn't want to stop her. I just wanted to feel more acknowledged by her as a person and not another character for her to live stream or post about. And she called me ungrateful, that she employs herself to have 2 jobs to support my wants, and she works so hard for me. Her original job was being employed by my father. I don't know why my kids don't talk to me. I don't know why they put me in this old folks home and they don't talk to me and they never call and they don't let me see my grandkids." He pays all the bills and covers everything. The money she earns is partially for spending, and she still uses his credit card and to pay off debts. She counts Facebook as her second job between all the time it takes, and according to my dad, it's under minimum wage. Recently, he's complaining that she's on Facebook during her work hours and it's impacting on how much she gets done in the day. She yelled at me for over 30 minutes, and it all ended with her crying and ordering me away. And as bad as it sounds, most sit-downs end up this way. I asked to go to therapy before and he had a similar ending. For a while, she slowed down on photographing food. This was because my dad told her to stop, that most of the pictures she took were not worth it and it was getting annoying. When we were eating at a restaurant, she would take photos of her own food while making comments about how we weren't supporting her by taking pictures of our meals and being upset and overdramatic. The habit started picking up again of her taking pictures of food, so I started to get dishes that look unappealing, like cider fries or salad with mixed greens, just so it's not photographed by her. She still posts often, and I saw someone comment about doxing, but her page has my hometown posted, along with photos of my house, and when she goes on trips, she'll post when she leaves and where she is in the moment. My dad heavily disapproves of this and thinks it should only be posted when we come back. It terrifies me just how much is online about me, and when she leaves just me and my brother alone at home, I become scared that someone could easily break in. My brother has started to become bothered by her. On a trip, she posted a video of my brother sleeping, which his friends found, and he's now annoyed by it. He said that even though he's fine with filming, it's the excessiveness that gets to him. He's always been closer to her than I have, and I just hope this doesn't affect their future relationship any more than it already has. The most frequent comment is people saying they wouldn't be able to handle it, and they would toss her phone or try to sabotage it one way or another. And I do appreciate this comment, and I got a good laugh out of some of them. But the harsher truth is, being in the situation, retaliation is a lot harder because I would be put under an unsavory limelight, along with the fact that she carries around 2 phones, so destroying one would do little to nothing while getting me in trouble with both parents. The second thing I want to talk about is divorce. My parents can communicate, and divorce is something they both don't want. My dad encourages me to ignore my mum's antics, and we both know she loves me and is trying to be a parent, which is a difficult task with little to no instructions. My mum isn't from where I'm from. For all I know, it could be a good outlet for her, and it keeps her connected with her home country and the people from where she's from. And finally, I want to thank people who said I was patient, but I really am not. I'm just used to it. When it's how you grow up, you don't think about it as much, even if it bothers you. Giving into her lifestyle is a habit, and I plan on living by just trying to stay under the radar. To us, it's bizarre, but to OP, this is her everyday life, and she just figures the best way to cope is to just be invisible. But people are still in the comments telling OP, start playing Disney music or start wearing Disney merch. All these things may seem like good advice, but like OP says, all it will do is just get you in trouble. You're angry that I don't want to be recorded. If this was about you and your business, me saying I don't want to be a part of it shouldn't be affecting you this much where you start to call me ungrateful. I don't expect you to have a mental breakdown when your child says, don't profit off of me in a way that makes me feel open. Her child feels exposed and is scared that because of her mother, people can easily find her location and come to her house. That is a crazy thing to have to hear your child say. I cannot imagine a situation where you hear your child tell you these things and you still think, I'm going to go about continuing my business of just recording myself. And to say you have 2 jobs. My sister in Christ, you're the one who's giving yourself the second job. The first job, you're even not doing well effectively now because your husband is angry that you're not doing it well. You're underperforming in the first one, and the second one doesn't even give you the minimum wage. I would expect you to prioritize the one that brings more money to the household. I'm not coming at her for being a content creator, by the way. I feel like that would be hypocritical of me considering what I'm currently literally doing right now, you know what I'm saying? I'm just upset that she is doing it to people's detriment. There's no reason why you should colonize the kitchen and then say to everyone else, don't come here. There has to be a line drawn. But let me know what you guys think. What do we think of influencer mom? So far, who do you think is in the lead for the title of worst mom ever? And while you let me know in the comments, I am going to go on a short tea break. And when we come back, we are going to go over to the next story. We are going over to the relationship advice subreddit with a post by Throra F My Life 11, who says, "My life has imploded. My husband slept with my mom right before we got married 2 years ago. It's a scary world we live in. He confessed it to me yesterday out of guilt. The details are that he was extremely drunk on his bachelor party night, which I knew had happened. He doesn't drink often and he overdid it. He said the next morning that he didn't remember anything after a certain point that night, and I thought nothing of it. Looking back, I can see how he acted pretty off, which I assumed at the time was wedding jitters. And now he's told me that he did remember coming home that night, which was when my mom, who was staying with us that week for the wedding, came on to him, and he went along with it to the point of ending up having intimacy in her bed. In fact, he passed out in her bed and was there the whole night. My bachelorette party was happening the same night, and I came home around 3 a.m. to see that he wasn't in our bed. So I texted him but assumed he'd crashed with a friend, as he told me he might do so if things got crazy. But he was actually with my mother right in the next effing door. The next morning, he quietly slipped out while I was still asleep, and then he opened the door, pretending he'd just come home after sleeping off the drunkenness at his friend's house. He got into bed with me and told me that lie. As if it wasn't enough, he also initiated intimacy soon after. He'd been sleeping with my mom mere hours before, and then we got married the very next day. F everything. I literally cannot believe this. My mom has a history of trying to flirt with the guys I've dated and being inappropriate. It was never this bad, but still. My husband knew this. We laughed about it, and he assured me that he would never in a million years think she was attractive. What the F? I called her last night and just said, my husband told me everything. She then spent several minutes pretending not to know what I was talking about, then denying everything and saying that he was making it up. And then she claimed she'd woken up to my husband forcing himself on her. The sheer audacity of the BS she's capable of is beyond any disgust I can properly convey. I eventually just cut the call on her. I can't stop crying. She refused to even admit the truth, let alone take any responsibility or apologize. I'm not even worth basic honesty in my own mother's eyes. I'm not even worth a half-assed I'm sorry to her. And that is the person who's supposed to love you no matter what. And does she think I'm stupid? Why would you keep lying to someone who knows you're lying, unless you think they would actually fall for your crap? Today, I can't cry at all. Everything feels unreal. I'm completely lost, and it almost feels like I've dreamed this up or something. I've lost the 2 most important people in my life because they decided I wasn't as important to them as having a quick session. Well, I hope it was the best 10 minutes of their life. Wait, they did all that for 10 minutes? Just 10 minutes? Oh, wow. I'm not saying I'm disappointed, I'm just surprised. And sure, maybe my husband didn't come home that night with the planned intention of sleeping with her. He probably didn't, and it was just horrible judgment from over drinking. But that doesn't change the fact that he and my mom had intimacy. No one should be able to say that their spouse did this. How is that normal? I cannot imagine staying in this marriage when my spouse has effed my mom. Literally 2 nights before our wedding. There's simply no coming back from that, right? No, I will never get over over or forgive it. I feel absolutely revolted that for the last 2 years, they've been at family visits together, acting more or less normal, with me in the middle, right there like a stupid effing clueless fool. There's probably much more I'm forgetting, but maybe it doesn't even matter. I'm just done. My life is gone, and I have no idea where I'll be next week, let alone next year. We were going to be together for the rest of our lives, and now it's gone. Just like that, I have nothing. What can I do? How do I possibly explain to the family why we're divorcing? I'm so effing humiliated. TLDR, I learned that my husband cheated on me with my own mother 2 days before we got married. Our entire marriage has been sitting on that lie. Threadheads, where do I start? I want to, first of all, address the possibility that maybe her husband was in fact without capacity, and so he was essayed by his mother-in-law. That could be a possibility. Does it change what has happened? Not quite, but it does also mean there could be a crime going on here. There could be an offense. There could be something much worse than just cheating. Whilst I also address that issue, I also want to say the actions taken afterwards make me feel less certain that this is what has happened. After he woke up, he fled the scene. He didn't even go to her room. No, he intentionally slipped out of the house, acted as if he just came home, and then he got in bed with OP. If that was all that happened that night, I would still say it makes you look a little bit suspicious. But then you slept with OP after what just happened? Are you kidding me? It makes me feel like you did this intentionally. The setup of it doesn't make me feel like you just happened to have been too drunk to not know what you're doing. Because here's the thing, if I was blackout drunk and I woke up in someone else's bed but my partner, I would freak out. I wouldn't say, okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to go out of the house. I'm gonna go out of the house, then unlock the door, and I'm gonna go into OP's bed, and then I'll sleep with OP. Common sense just tells me, I feel like that is the last thing I'd be thinking if I woke up in someone else's bed but my bed. That's why I don't fully accept that this could possibly be a lack of capacity situation. That first day when it happened, I can understand him being maybe just combobulated by the entire ordeal. But excuse that. 2 years I cannot excuse. I cannot excuse 2 years of his mother-in-law and him looking at OP like Boo Boo the Fool, playing in her face, and letting that woman think you guys are friendly. Come off it. That is where I draw the line. Those 2 years, doesn't sit right with me. There is a pedestal waiting for her mom in the rank of worst mom ever. But unfortunately for the mother, she has to go to the pits of hell to go and stand on that pedestal.
Winner.
How insecure and pathetic do you have to be as a person? What do you mean you keep flirting with everyone who shot their shot at your daughter? Do you want to prove a point where you think to yourself, I'm just as attractive as my child? And when you prove that point, what next? What did you expect would happen? The only saving grace here is that OP didn't mention any kids. If there are kids involved, this would be a hot mess. This is a catastrophe already, but imagine adding kids to this equation. You people know me. I like the guillotine. Whip it out and put your neck there. And when we go over to the comments, the top comment is by Pingu3101, who says, first of all, you don't have to explain to the family if you don't want to. You could say something like, it's not working out, and we've chosen to separate, and we're not comfortable discussing further. On the other hand, you could also say the truth, because if your mom chose to lie and accuse your husband of essaying her, when she knows that is not the truth, mainly due to the fact that she has done that in the past, she could very well lie about why you stopped talking to her, painting you in a bad light. Which brings me to my next point. I think you should cut contact with your mother, at least for now. For now, try forever. Then a couple days later, OP posts an update. OP says, my actual update will be brief, but I want to thoroughly address what you guys said on my first post. I read every single comment. Most of you were pointing out that it sounded like my husband was too drunk to consent, meaning that my mother essayed him. When I spoke to him again, after reading all of your comments, I asked him carefully if he felt that she took advantage of his drunkenness. There was a long pause. He sighed and gave me this look that was just full of guilt and sadness, and then basically said, no, that it'd be easy to go with the out I was giving him, but that I deserved the full truth It's about to go down. He then proceeded to tell me that before that night, they had been sexting for several months. He had not told me this the first time he confessed. He went on to tell me more, explaining that he left this out because the biggest issue for him was the actual cheating, and that he did not want to hurt me by giving me all the lead-up details. He only gave them to me this time out of some remaining sense of honor, I guess. He said he'd be an even bigger coward if he misled me to think that it was SA. So I guess he's not as much of a liar as he could be, and I don't know how to feel about that. Anyway, they had been sexting, including exchanging nudes, for several months before the wedding. Now, I had known they were texting sometimes. They'd always had a friendly relationship, but I'd never suspected anything weird. Like I said in my first post, he had been adamant that he'd never think of her intimately, and I trusted him. He can't explain why they began sexting, beyond that he got caught up in the thrill of doing something forbidden. There are implications made about wanting to do things in real life as a one-night thing, should the opportunity ever arise. Disgusting. So, fast forward to our bachelor and bachelorette party night. Texting between them was going on while he was out that night. So remember what I said in my first post about how he probably didn't come home intending to sleep with her? Yep, that was wrong. He did. In fact, him telling me that he was going to stay overnight with his friend if he got too drunk was all a part of the setup. He knew I'd be out very late for a show, and he had the presence of mind to arrange a way to leave his party earlier in the night, go home, F my mother, and already given me a plausible explanation for appearing not to be home when I got back at 3 a.m. All this so that he could spend one night with her. It was just that important to him to have the full experience of falling asleep after intimacy and waking up next to each other. He reiterated that he had been aware the whole time of what he was doing. He wasn't as drunk as he made it seem the next morning when he claimed not to remember anything that happened. I think I confused people in my first post into thinking he was incapacitated. I thought I'd been clear that he admitted during his first confession that it was all an act he put on at the time to cover up his cheating, which he then explained he actually had remembered everything the next morning. So just to be clear again, while he did get drunk, at no point did he black out or become totally wasted to the point that he was unable to control his decisions and his body. He doesn't know if she was drunk too or relatively sober. She'd mentioned to him that she was drinking when he was out at the party, but he doesn't know how much. He said since that night, he hadn't texted her at all except about logistical details of visits, and the one text he sent her the next day. In that one message, he said that it would never happen again and that she would lose me if I knew, which is correct, so she'd better never let me know. And she agreed. He claimed that everything between them since had been a normal mother-in-law relationship. Do I believe what he says? It doesn't matter. He lied for 2 years and then lied by omission in his first confession about the months-long build-up to the affair. During that time, I was bonding with my mother over wedding planning. She brought me dress shopping. It's effing sick. I'd be misplaced not to acknowledge his integrity about the SA thing. He told me it'd be easy to run with that in order to keep me, because I said if that's what happened, I would stay with him, but that he'd already betrayed me and he wouldn't be able to live with himself if he made a false accusation about something so serious instead of taking responsibility. Well, that is the only part I respect him for. As for my mom, nothing. Not a word from her since this weekend, which is fine by me. I never want to see or hear from her again. It's almost like she's deceased. I don't have a mother anymore. Some of you have asked about my father, and he passed from health issues in 2010. Since then, my mom had a revolving door of men when I was a teenager, but no actual relationships. So I don't have a dad or stepdad either. I'm also an only child, but I do have friends in other family, but I just don't have the strength to talk to them about this yet. The last thing to address, some people thought my post was fake because I hadn't replied to any comments. That was because I was so exhausted, I just passed out right after posting it. And when I woke up, it was locked and I couldn't reply. So on to the actual update. I'm proceeding with divorce and I've gotten in touch with an attorney. I kicked him out of the house. I think he's gone to his parents for the time being. I'm not looking forward to a legal battle whatsoever, but there's no possible way to remain married after this crap. To this day, he doesn't know why he did it. I have my own suspicions based on the things he said in the past about wishing he'd had more intimate partners before me because he felt like he'd missed out on his youth. Maybe that was my clue I wasn't enough for him, and I should have listened, but I let him and some friends talk me into believing that I must be, or he wouldn't be with me, and that all guys have regrets like that, and they sacrifice them for the right woman. Clearly that wasn't me. He also struggles with the overuse of adult content sometimes. Stepmom is his favorite genre. It never struck me as anything besides being a dumb thing, but whatever. I won't be dating for a long time, because I'm obviously colorblind to red flags. TLDR, he gave me additional details that clarified he was not SA'd. It was an intentional affair, going back months longer than the one-night encounter he told me about initially. We will be divorcing. The only saving grace is that we don't have kids. OP is giving this man too much grace. She's giving him too much benefit of the doubt, and I've never understood how giving someone the doubt was a benefit. The only reason he told you he wasn't SA is because he was pushed to a corner. He saw that his options were very limited. Do I tell her the truth, or do I accuse her mother of SA, which could then escalate to a full-on police investigation if my wife chooses to actually pursue it? He is such a coward. He is very pathetic. For all you know, it didn't stop that day. But I am done rambling at this point. I'm tired of hearing my own voice. I would like to know what you guys think. What's your opinion of all the mothers we've talked about today? Which one would you say has earned the title of the worst mom ever? Do let me know in the comments. But with that, we have come to the end of today's trip down the rabbit hole. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and watching all the way to the end. If you've enjoyed today's video, first of all, thank you. Don't forget to hit that like button, show your girl some love, and then if you'd like to see more content from me or more of my videos, you can always subscribe, and then you can get notified as well so you know whenever I post a new video. And also, if you'd like to connect with me on other social media handles, I do list them on the screen, but also in the description box down below. I love to read your comments, both on TikTok, but also here sometimes. They really do make me laugh. And hey, if you have your own questions, your stories, your confession, your mother drama, I would love to hear them. We have our own subreddit, which is r/AshleyReddit. Feel free to post your stories on there. And who knows, your story just might be in the next video and you might be getting some advice or some love. Until next time, keep it nosy, keep it cozy. Ashley Reddit, and now, so did you. Adios, mamacita.